Sefer Bamidbar ends with a tremendously climactic ending. The only problem is that it comes two prakim too soon. Sefer Bamidbar had begun with a census for the first generation as they marched on to Eretz Yisrael. It finishes in Parashat Pinchas, which we read last week, with a second census for the second generation as they come 38 years later to conquer Eretz Yisrael. And now the Torah tells us in Perek Lamed Daled, what are the boundaries? Zot haaretz, this is the land that you are about to receive. And there's a description of the boundaries of Eretz Canaan. But the Torah chooses not to finish Sefer Bamidbar with that climax, but rather with something which is terribly anticlimactic. The story of the reaction of Bnei Menashe to Benot Tzlofchad. Benot Tzlofchad had been told in Parashat Pinchas that they would be able to inherit the land in place of Tzlofchad, their father. And now Bnei Menashe come and complain to Moshe, and they say to him, after all, V'hayu le'echad mibnei shiftei bnei Yisrael enashim. Benot Tzlofchad will marry some other shevet, some other tribe. V'nigra'ah, and our nachala, our inheritance, as a result will be lessened because their children will be attributed to that other shevet and not to shevet Menashe. And Moshe responds after turning to God and tells them that Benot Tzlofchad must marry Bnei Menashe. Why should the Torah finish Sefer Bamidbar in this way? And then perhaps to cover up the fact that there is a bit of an anticlimax, the Torah finishes with a flourish. And the Torah says, Eila hamitzvot v'hamishpatim. These are the mitzvot, these are the laws, asher tziva Hashem biyad Moshe b'nei Yisrael ba'arvot Moav al Yarden Richa. That Moshe was commanded by God, and Moshe commanded in turn b'nei Yisrael in the Barvot Moav, next to across the Yarden from Yericho. What is going on with the end of Sefer Bamidbar? And I think that the Torah here is making an important point. Sefer Bamidbar as a whole is a sefer which deals with halacha meeting reality. All too often in the sefer, the Torah describes incidents where the halacha must respond to a reality which wasn't necessarily predicted. Pesach Sheni, Mikoshesh Etzim, the Korach rebellion, Benot Tzlofchad. All of these instances, and there are many more, the Torah describes how the halacha is impacted by the narrative, as much as the narrative is impacted by the halacha. And so the Torah chooses to finish this sefer of reality with the ultimate reality, not dealing with a situation which needs an answer and needs a response, but rather a response which needs a response. Benot Tzlofchad themselves had come with a riddle, with a problem to Moshe. No sons were available. Who should inherit Tzlofchad? And Hashem tells Benot Tzlofchad through Moshe that they will inherit Tzlofchad, their father. And now that solution has unintended consequences, because now there is a legitimate complaint on the part of Bnei Menashe that the nachala of the shevet is going to be reduced as a result of this situation. And what is the response? The response is a limitation of the freedom of Benot Tzlofchad. Because here, the solution sometimes requires a reaction which in turn is impacted by the situation, the circumstances. Someone has to lose. Either Bnei Menashe are going to lose from their shevet, or Benot Tzlofchad are going to have their choice of a husband restricted to members of their own shevet. This is reality. This is life. And the halacha has to respond to the reactions. The halacha has to respond to the reactions to the reactions, and sometimes even to the reactions of the reactions. That is what the Torah begins Sefer Bamidbar with. That is how the Torah ends Sefer Bamidbar. And so the Torah finishes quite fittingly with that pasuk that we read before. Ze'ele hamitzvot v'hamishpatim. These are the mitzvot and the laws. Asher tziva Hashem biyad Moshe et b'nei Yisrael, which Hashem has commanded Moshe to b'nei Yisrael. Understand the halacha of Sefer Bamidbar, because Sefer Bamidbar is the Sefer of life.